Hey everybody, it's Wisp, and Dragon Age 4 has not been getting any hype. The community is talking about it a lot, but the developers are still being tight-lipped ever since the title reveal, which makes sense, because it's a long ways away. But if we go back to the concept art from years ago, we know that there's a party. The thing about concept art is that things change rapidly. I mean, in the course of days, sometimes in the course of months, but it's very possible that nothing we saw is continuing. It's not likely. I mean, some of the stuff is staples, and they know when they've shown some things a few times, but it's technically possible that not a single thing we saw will stick into the base game. So I don't want to use the concept art too much, but if I want to talk about the party, there is that one very specific concept piece that is hard to ignore. So there it is. This piece of concept art shows us with 8 people, or shows 8 people. Maybe we're with 7, or maybe they're 8 coming to us. But it feels like it can't be the full party. First off, because, I mean, 8's a good number, right? Especially because then I could be one class, and then I can have a party that fills out the rest of the classes. Could. I mean, I wouldn't have to. You don't need all 9, but I think that'd be nice, and it would give us a chance for that balance. But I know this can't be the final party. Either there are more members, or some of these people are being edited, because there's not a dwarf, and I know it's not like required for us to get a dwarf, but if we're playing a fantasy game and we don't have an ally who's close with us from the dwarves, that's a problem. We are going to Deventer, but that's a better reason to use it, because now we can explore how they're treated, how where they come from, what their backstories if a dwarf is living in Deventer is. So that alone tells me this is not finished. However, we do get that one wacky companion that BioWare always loves to show us. This little dude with the flaming skull is, first of all, awesome to look at. But secondly, I don't know what I want from him. There's 2 different personalities that I want to see here. One being the total rebel, doesn't care about anything. He was supposed to be a servant, but instead he just does whatever he wants. 2, being that I want him to be the most prim and proper person. Like, everything about him is just tight-necked and, bow tie sort of dude. I did this, but I meant this bow tie. Sorry. Anyway, I want either direction. And either way, I think he would have a great story about finding his own. Sort of if he's that prim and proper because he was supposed to be a servant, well, maybe we can help him realize he's more than that. But if he's that rebellious because he was supposed to be a servant, then maybe we can help him realize that he's more than that. Either way, those are kind of 2 different sides of the same coin of a character who has not found their way or found out how much they mean or what they really are in life yet. And I think that would be a great direction to take a companion like this. Man, I really am picking that with like no basis, but it's what I want for the character. Other than that, for specific companions, I mean, Davrin, who we get one line from, and all he says is for the warden. So he's a warden, and I'm sold, right? Like, I'm attached to the wardens, whether because of my Grey Warden bias from my warden, my hero Ferelden, or just because the organization's kind of cool and like they do amazing things. I don't know, but I want him, and especially because Deventer is actually where the first blight was solved. They they fought that first archdemon in Deventer, but there's also a large part of Deventer that has Dalish elves who worshipped the Dreadwolf. So I could see a potential conflict with the Dreadwolf being so much about spirits in the past and all that, and the Grey Wardens being so much about killing the archdemons, which aren't demons, but they were from the Golden City most likely, and or they were connected to that whole event. So I think there could be a lot of drama there. Having a Grey Warden back in Deventer, what does it mean? What do the modern people of Deventer feel and think about the Grey Wardens for one? But what does he think about them? Him as a person, because he's not representing all the Grey Wardens. Although if he's the only one to enter, then accidentally he is. Like, one of those things where no, it's not on you. But if you're the only person of your group in that whole land, everything you do is going to be watched. And that's a scary thing. No one should be in that position, but people find themselves in that position very frequently, and it's all about how you handle it and what you do after. Another character is Balara. She could technically be anyone. I mean, she could be a scout, she could be a one-off character, but we got a highlight of her in that one proof of concept thing that they did. So I feel like she's going to be a companion, or at least important, but I hope a companion. I would guess a dwarf character, but That's really baseless. And then she talks about feeling the good tremors. She's definitely going to be kind of funny, or at least supposed to be funny. I don't know yet because I obviously don't know the writing. But usually when BioWare writes a funny companion, they do a pretty good job at showcasing that they are humorous. One exception is Ashley Williams, but Ashley was not funny. I mean, they make multiple points to show that none of the characters are laughing at her jokes. So her character quirk is that she wants to be funny, but she's not. Whereas Belara, I think, is going to be kind of quirky. I think maybe close to Varric, but whereas Varric is more straightforward with his wit, Belara is going to be more like clumsy with her wit. Like you never know if she understood something or not because maybe she's screwing with you, but maybe she just doesn't understand. I'm so much extrapolating here from her saying the good kind of trimmers. Um, why do I get that impression? Well, because I think that her specifying to us that they're the good kinds of trimmers shows that she was sort of teasing us when she said, "Oh, there's trimmers," or whatever. Like in the first part when she says there's trimmers, she was sort of teasing us and letting us be afraid for a second, and then jumping on to correct it. Now, was that because, oops, I scared them, or was it because, haha, I scared them? But she pretends that it was a mistake. Either way, I think she's gonna be funny. But is it because she's hyper aware of it and she's teasing us, or is it because she just didn't understand and she's correcting it? It could be nothing, I know, but that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, we, the fans, are extrapolating a lot right now because we're just trying to figure out who these characters are going to be so badly. I mean, the companions are core to the game. If the companions are bad, the games are pretty bad. They're what make the story work. So yeah, I mean, we care. We're excited. Now, from this picture, I am also really excited about this dude with the thing on his back because is that a gun? I personally, I don't know if I'm ready for like guns and stuff in Dragon Age. Could just be a really cool crossbow. I'm fine with that. Guns in Dragon Age, it's possible because time is moving forward, so it's possible that they invented something similar to gunpowder. It would just be a change in the game mechanics, and maybe they've thought about this a lot and they're ready for it. I'm nervous about it. I'm not saying that it shouldn't happen, and I'm not saying that it would be bad objectively. I'm just saying that I'm nervous about that, and hopefully it works out well. And it really could. I'm just uncertain. All right, and then next up on my list is that really tall dude, because, I mean, there's no way it is, but could we be meeting more ancient elves somewhere in Deventer? That doesn't make sense, right? Like, why would they be there? But they were so interesting. I mean, I think one of the most interesting people that we met was, I believe his name was Obelisk. And I would love to have more interaction with them, but based on Inquisition, that's not really an option. But if there are other ancient elves or something like that somewhere around somehow, that'd be cool. But another option is, again, people I don't want to talk about because they're book only. But they come from across the sea. And what if he takes off that hood and he's basically like a merman and he's got like scales or the fin on his head? Oh boy, that messed up my hair. I think it would be so great. I'm excited to see what that could happen. Are we getting a Ghast companion? No, we aren't. There's no evidence. There is no evidence that we will ever speak to a Ghast again, or in the first place. Usually we just kill them. We don't even talk to them. We won't. We won't not find a Ghast for sure. Like it's possible. They were in the concept art, but I don't think we're getting a Ghast companion, and I don't think there's going to be one that talks to us or has a role in the story. Maybe a side quest about them. Please give us a side quest about them. Anyway, I think the companion that I've seen the most people talking about is the Kunari woman with the horns and the long hair. And there's not much I need to say there. I mean, everyone is interested in this character already from the few pieces of concept art we've seen, but we've seen a few concept art pieces that are objectively her. Whereas all the other companions, it's like, okay, wait, could this be this guy? Even the guy with the cool skull firehead? I mean, that could technically be any other spirit servant. We don't know that we've seen him. But this woman, we've definitely seen her. So she's almost definitely going to be in the final game. Maybe with a different haircut, maybe with a different horn shape, but she's almost certainly in the game. And I am hoping that she is powerful. Um, I want her companion quest and her journey to largely be about proving that she's not Kunari. Um, One of the most abandoned pieces of lore is that the Kunari are actually a race called the Kosith or Kosith. I don't know which one it's pronounced as because they don't put them in the games. But if the Kossith don't accept the Coon, and they never did, they were never subjected to it, they're not really Tal Vashoth any more than a human is Tal Vashoth because they didn't leave it. So the Kossith just don't exist, and they're just instantly Tal Vashoth because of their species, I guess, or because of their race. That doesn't feel great. So I'd hope for her to be someone who's like trying to take that title. Like, no, I'm Kossith. I'm not Tal Vashoth. Screw that. But maybe that's me putting my like personal biases or my human culture into it, whereas maybe the Kunari slash Tal Vashoth don't care about it. Because it really does just mean living outside the Kun, but like, why do you get that title if you never even lived inside the Kun or you never accepted it anyway? It's sort of like that, I guess, is how I feel. Sort of a short video today, for sure. But again, there's not too much to say about the companions. The one thing that I am scared about is somebody, and I don't know which one, but somebody is almost definitely an agent of the Dreadwolf. Now, I would hope that that's someone who we can help change and sway over to our side, but knowing Dragon Age, it might end in tragedy. I think most realistically, it's like it might. Like maybe there's a choice we make that actually influences it, or a series of choices we make. But hopefully there's a way to save them. I mean, we lost Solus, right? There was no way we could help Solus. I mean, maybe now we can try to help him, but like there was no way we could prevent him from doing the things he's doing. Maybe this guy's an agent of the Dreadwolf, but he's not going to ally with the Dreadwolf if we do the right things. Or maybe we will find out that our party member agent of the Dreadwolf was actually Sarah. That one's a wild theory that I had, but it's only because I'm like, well, her story didn't feel over to me. It didn't feel like she got a full arc. So what if they went with the whole like, oh, she's playful, she's fun, but also she was actually a traitor. And the reason I think it would hit is because we had a year before Trespasser to get over Solus, and then years after Trespasser to get used to this betrayal. But if during Dragon Age 4 we find out that Sarah betrayed the Inquisitor, that will be raw and fresh and put us right back into that state. So then if the Inquisitor comes back and the Inquisitor feels betrayed, so do we who control the Inquisitor, and we can properly play that character without even needing to think about it. Now, I don't think she would be, and I think there are a lot of people who would betray us way before her. So it's just because she didn't have like the fullest arc in my opinion, so that's why I pick her. But I don't think that's a worry. Now, I do think Dorian is coming back to our team. I mean, he was from Deventer, he's going back to Deventer. It almost seems like they were leading us to that early on, like they wanted us to know. But maybe that's the fake out. Maybe we get someone else, or maybe Varric comes back again. Everyone would love to see Varric. I want him to play a role in the story, and I definitely want to meet him. But I actually really like the Dragon Age tradition that one character is in 2 games. Oghren, then Anders, then Varric. So I'd love for it to be Dorian this time. But technically it's always possible that more than one companion return, or that no companions return, or that Varric gets 3 games, because honestly he is just the best character anyway. I mean, to most people, like, I love Alistair and Morrigan as well. Fenris I really care about despite him not being the most popular. But I think it's possible that Varric comes back. I just want it to be Dorian for finishing his story, and because we're in Deventer. Plus his spirit magic that he almost never uses could actually come back, and we could actually see what the necromancy, you know, we could see what he can do with that in Deventer in his full power. But yeah, that's all I've got today. Lots of speculation, very baseless for some of it, but fun to talk about nonetheless. So I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you come back next time for more Dragon Age content, or other content. If you're here for my other stuff, that's cool too. I hope you enjoyed maybe learning a little bit about Dragon Age, or maybe revisiting stuff that you never thought you'd go back to. So awesome. Take care and have a great rest of your day. And until next time.